let's talk training methods. All right. So one of the things that I was really didn't get the chance to kind of go into it, but it was really interesting. Since a long time ago, we see a lot of gadgets that kind of tell you, oh, you lose weight by sweating a lot. You lose weight by putting this waistband on you, or putting this cream on you, or putting those things. And a lot of those are like known gimmicks that they don't work. But I see something that is kind of standing out, and a lot of people are talking about the electronic kind of training where you stimulate the...
Yeah.
And like, where do you stand on?
Well, I did some research on that. Like, it was originally made for physiotherapists, right? Like, so basically, just to kind of give you an idea, the EMS training, which is when they put like kind of electrodes on your body, and then it basically vibrates the muscle while you exercise, right? And the concept behind that is you're going to exercise the muscle more. One of the main issues I have with that is whenever you try to do something that your body's not naturally made to do, which is stimulate a muscle that doesn't need to be extra stimulated, it can cause detrimental like effects, which is like excess water weight that is lost, which is what most people see when they say like, oh my God, I lost so much weight doing EMS training over like the past month. I'm like, yeah, that's all water weight. Because like you're stimulating a muscle, the body is just draining out the system because that's what it naturally wants to do. But you're not really doing much and you're not really benefiting. The muscle needs to be stimulated the way it should be, which is if you increase the amount of overload progression or the amount of stimulus to the muscle, it will work on its own. It will recruit the right amount of muscle fibers. You don't need to, basically all it's trying to do is trying to mask the fact that you're not lifting heavy enough weights for your body. That's it. That's all it's doing. That's what EMS training is.
So the gains that you get are not actually... There are no gains in it.
No, it's not really, because like again, first of all, it's super expensive. I don't know why it's so expensive. First of all, but second, it's not a sustainable practice. You can keep doing that over and over and over again, but eventually it will catch up to you.
I think the reason that a lot of acceptance or a lot of like attraction towards whether it's EMS or any other factor is that the shortcut kind of feeling. People just want to do the thing that would, instead of doing an hour session, do a 20-minute session
and feel that
you did an hour session.
Exactly.
That's exactly. They're trying to kind of, and believing that you can actually cheat the system in a way is kind of just like waste of your money and waste of your effort.
Yeah.
Where do we stand on body types? Are you a strong believer of body types? Because I see a lot of conversations. I get a lot of conversations that, oh, lucky this guy, he's an ectomorph, or lucky this guy, he's a mesomorph.
Yeah.
Do you feel it has a lot of relevance, a lot of impact on?
There are definite body types, but with our daily habits, we can influence this. Just FYI. So, like I know, at least from Precision Nutrition and what I learned from them, that you can be an ectomorph that's changed into a mesomorph in a way, or ectomeso, by how much you eat. Like your habits of, like, let's say for example, we all hang out together and you both naturally eat very quickly and I don't, and I'm an ectomorph, I'm naturally going to start eating faster because you guys both eat faster.
Without being aware of it.
Without even being aware of it, which moves me or shifts me from a body type of an ecto to more of a meso. And not even realizing that that's definitely there are people who need to be more conscious of what they eat and like be much more aware of like how your body changes based, again, outcome-based decision making. Okay, I eat this throughout the day. How is it affecting me in the long run, Yani? So yes, there are body types. You can influence it through your behaviors. At the end of the day, it's nature plus nurture. I say this to a lot of people. Your nature is, you can't dictate, it's your genetics, but your your nurture, you can. How you bring yourself up, or how you create an environment that nurtures you towards a specific direction or a specific goal.
A lot of people, even if they're not extremely overweight, they're not even in the obese category, and you see them doing like bypass surgeries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, just to go into that very quick kind of and even though even for the people who are extremely overweight, there is a better way, or there is a safer way to do it through training. But they don't believe it. They believe, oh, it's my body type, or it's my genetics. I'm cursed. I'm out of the game.
I can't do anything about it. Let's actually talk about that, because that's actually a really good topic, the bypass surgery. So, like, I was trying to do a lot of information on, like, look, there are some people that maybe need it because they're at like critical health condition, and without it, they will get like a heart attack or something like this. Let's hope not. But I mean, it's sometimes they have to, right? Which again, that's fine. Like,
but even when you say it, you're talking about a very few rare cases.
Exactly.
We have to clarify that, you know, because a lot of people thinking, oh, I might be in that condition. No, you're far from it.
No.
You could easily be far away from it.
Yes, absolutely. And this is where most people don't realize what happens is this: when you do that, okay, so you're basically, there's two different kinds. I forgot what the other one was. One is that they cut a piece of your stomach so that your stomach is smaller.
Yeah.
Then the second one is they tie your stomach, which is, I think, the gastric bypass. I'm not too sure, but both ways, basically what's happening is that your stomach is now become smaller, so you can take less. You feel more full, because your body just can't expand the stomach based on how much food you're eating. But what happens there is that you go into an extreme calorie deficit, to the point where you can't eat almost sometimes anything. So what ends up naturally happening? Your body goes into like a state where it's losing a lot of fat and a lot of muscle. And that is a recipe for disaster, because your metabolism is going to just shoot down, all the way down. So when people say like, oh, I have a slow metabolism, that's not true. You can build up your metabolism. You can't say that you don't have a good metabolism. It's your metabolism is dictated by you and what you do and your habits. So these people who drastically drop their calories now, or restricted because they can't physically eat, their fat is going to go down, their muscle is going to go down, and their body now is going to start burning 800 calories a day. Instead of consuming 800, like let's say, their body is going to only be able to burn 800 calories, which is very low. It's like literally you're struggling to even move, and like you won't even get out of your chair if you're at work, because your body just doesn't want to do anything.
Maybe you think that you saved yourself from a heart attack, but you actually took a lot more from your body.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And even though, because at the end, I'm a performance coach, so I'm driven by performance. I have seen a client who have done it, and he lost in his performance tremendously.
Yeah.
He was actually performing much better when he was overweight than after the surgery. So that's definitely something to consider for people who are, maybe, I'm not going to say athletes, but I'm going to say people who care about being active on the long run.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Your performance, because you're losing so much muscle, performance just drops. And when your performance drops, you're not able to burn as much calories. And a lot of people have this misconception that you go into starvation mode, which that concept is actually not true. There's no such thing as starvation mode. There's more what it's called metabolic adaptation. So your body adapts by saying, this is how much you're consuming, like let's say 800 calories. Fine, you used to burn 2005. I'm going to adapt through different means until you go down to 800, until I go down to 800. And that could be because by not burning as much during sleep, by not moving as much. You know how, let's say for example, when you're at work and you're just fidgeting on your phone, or some people will stop doing that because it's just extra calories that they used to burn that their body just doesn't want to burn anymore. And then they adapt to 800 calories, and then they're kind of stuck in that point. And I've seen actually someone who did a bypass with me. He came to the gym. He couldn't bench press. He was a big guy. He couldn't bench press 20 pounds. The training bar, the 15 pound bar. He couldn't do that. Like, he physically couldn't push it up. And I asked him, like, he had a test that he had to do. He had to do like certain amount of push-ups over within a minute, like a test. I was like, how are you going to do push-ups? He's like, I don't know, I'll just manage. I'm like, you can't lift 20 pounds. Like, do you understand how that is? Like, 20 pounds is not even your body weight. That's like, he was maybe at least 80 kilos. So how are you going to do push-ups? And like, people don't realize the effects that it has.
True, because like you talked about doing a bench or an exercise, and what I saw is not even an exercise. Like, the drop in performance was so tremendous that I saw even his shot power decline.
Yeah.
You know, so it's even, we're even beyond running faster or jumping higher. He's not even being able to strike the ball as hard as he used to be able to strike it.
He has no muscles, right? His body can't do it.
And that's one of the factors that I always think of, is that, all right, usually if you want to lose weight, you want to lose a certain amount of weight. You don't open-endedly lose weight.
Yeah.
You know, so you want to lose, you say, even though I'm not a fan of it, but you say like, oh, I'm supposed to be at 80 kg or whatever. I don't support that. You could, like, because a lot of factors play in. But even if you set a goal to yourself, you say like, okay, I need to drop 5 kgs. The moment you drop that amount of weight, you're gonna stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, you're trying to maintain that weight. In a surgery, how are you gonna stop once you reach that goal of yours?
Yeah.
It's gonna be difficult because you're gonna continue on dropping weight and weight and weight.
Yeah.
You know, and for me that's too permanent of a solution, you know.
I've also noticed a few people who struggle with they lost the weight. Apparently there's some research that shows that around 50% of people who do bypass surgeries end up gaining the weight back 50%.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 5 to 10 years after the surgery, like onwards. So the first 5 years is good, they lose the weight, but then after 5 years, between 5 and 10 years, their stomach, imagine this is how the body is so fascinating, their stomach expands even with the tide,
the cut or the
tide, it expands to its original shape.
That shows you how efficient your body is.
Yeah.
You know, the adaptation. And once you realize how your body adapts, you would, I think from my point of view, you would shy away from some of the certain aggressive, you know, factors or aggressive methods and dieting or aggressive methods, and because your body will adapt. It's smart enough and efficient enough to kind of negate the extreme conditions that you put on.
Exactly. Yeah. It will counteract that, and it will change based on what you're asking it to do. But believe it or not, like, our bodies don't like change, because like if you're looking at it from a primitive perspective, change is not a good thing, because first of all, you used to need to catch your food. And then after you caught your food, you needed to be able to sustain that food over an extended period of time. So it always tried to maintain and preserve energy stores or fat stores based on that. And I always like to tell this I like to tell people, go back to primitive times, because a lot of our physiological like thought processes and all of that are all primitive. Like, we still haven't evolved past that. that our body can adapt or change or do whatever it wants to do best, or you can do whatever you want to do just without any repercussions from the body kind of fighting back. So
not sure, I totally agree, because like one of the things when you track back and realize it, and you even look at food as a necessity, not a not a luxury or a social kind of factor. Because a lot of people just like when you said the example of the peanuts, it's just something that is around you. So you eat the food not for the purpose of surviving, but for the purpose of just enjoying or pampering yourself.